Charlie O'Hara in the studio this morning, here to answer your legal questions. If you have one, give us a call. The number is on your screen. Good morning, Charlie. Good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Glad we caught you before you go down to Atlanta.
Yeah, exciting times for the Shockers.
Go Shocks. Okay,
Yes.
We're going to go ahead and get to some phone calls we have this morning. A few questions for Charlie. We'll get on the line now. Hi there. What's your question?
Yeah, I have a question. I've been married since September. My husband and I never lived together since October. I didn't know if I needed an annulment or a divorce.
Well, it kind of depends on the circumstances. I don't know what happened during the time that you guys were together. You can probably do either one under most circumstances. There's no children, if there's no huge assets or something like that, and no transactions during the time, you can probably get an annulment. I don't know that it makes much difference one way or the other, quite frankly, other than what you can tell people you weren't married or you were. What an annulment means is you go back and say, well, it never really happened. It's kind of a legal fiction that we were never married. You can probably get one of those. It might be easier to get a divorce. It kind of just depends on you. You got to talk to an attorney about it.
And how long does it take before you can't get an annulment anymore?
Well, it kind of depends on the circumstances, actually.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes they can go back for quite a while. It depends on why you're getting that. I mean, if you're just getting it for the convenience of saying that you weren't married, I don't think you can go back nearly as far as if there's something that happened like fraud or somebody tricked somebody or in the old days it used to be the woman would claim that she was pregnant and they would get married and they'd find out that was a fraud and that would be a reason for an annulment. There aren't nearly as many annulments now as there used to be because divorce doesn't have the stigma that it had, you know, maybe 50, 60 years ago.
Okay, good to know. Thank you, Charlie. Good question. Thank you for calling in. We have time now for another one this morning. Hi there. What's your question for Charlie?
Yes, good morning.
Hi.
Is there a legal obligation to the waiting time for the test results from a doctor's office?
Well, I don't know if there's any legal obligation. Obviously, if you go into a doctor's office and pay them to get the results, they're supposed to give you the results. If they don't give you the results, they haven't lived up to their bargain, basically, because when you went in there and whether your insurance paid or you paid, you made an agreement that they would test you and then you'd know what the results were. So if they're not giving them to you, they're not living up to the bargain. I don't understand why they wouldn't do that. If they're not doing that, you need to call up and maybe even talk to the doctor himself or herself and find out why you're not getting the results of the test. It doesn't make much sense.
Would it be cheaper and maybe more cost-effective to just find a new doctor as opposed to getting a lawyer?
Well, I don't know that I'd get a lawyer for something like that. I think I'd go to another doctor and get another test, quite frankly, if that's what it was. But I mean, I think you could call yourself and talk to the doctor personally and find out why. There's got to be a reason why.
It's taking so long.
Yes,
okay.
Doesn't make sense.
Thank you for calling in. We have time now for one more call this morning. Hi there. What's your question for Charlie?
Hi there. I was pulled over for a concealed tag. I had a WSU tag holder on, and they said that they could not see the Kansas on the tag. You clearly could.
Okay, so I guess the question is...
Do you think I should fight it?
Well, I'm not sure, quite frankly. That's a little bit of a gray area in the law. What the law reads is they have to be able to read the tag. Now, I don't know what they could or couldn't read on your tag. It sounds like to me, if they're being real detailed about it, it just says the Kansas, they could read the number. You can see by the colors, if you live in Kansas, you know it's a Kansas tag. So I think you'd have an excellent argument that they knew what tag that was. If they couldn't see anything on the tag, well, that's a different matter. And if they couldn't read who it was, well, that would be against the law. So it kind of depends on the circumstances. But from what you describe, it sounds like to me it would be a ticket that I think you probably should fight.
Okay, yeah. And I know it'd probably be better if we could see what the license plate and the tag looks like, too.
That's right. And something like that is something, when we were talking earlier, you could almost represent yourself on some really minor traffic offenses. So she could probably do that herself.
Okay, good to know. Thanks for calling in. Great question. We'll be back with more Eyewitness News. Charlie, have a safe trip down to see the Shocks play.
Thanks. Good luck, Shocks. Go.
We'll be back with more Eyewitness News in just a moment.
Expect more from KSCW. This is Eyewitness News this morning in high definition. Online at kwch.com.